Endgame. Explosive royal book ruins Meghan Markle's rebrand. Buckingham Palace has been rocked by a shocking book about the royal family, which has derailed the Duchess of Sussex's plans for a U.S. relaunch. Go ahead and indulge in some irony throughout the workweek. While visiting the Center for Memory, Peace and Reconciliation in Colombia, Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, an unwavering trooper, happened to notice a fresh blaze engulfing both the House of Montecito and Buckingham Palace. Reconciliation? In Bogota, perhaps, but not in Buckingham Palace at the moment. Omid Scobie, a supporter of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, published his new book Endgame this week. It has already leaked a slew of devastating allegations against the firm and everyone who works there. The Princess of Wales has a time card, didn't you know that? Of course, though. You may assume that a particular king who struggles with writing and finding time for his fiery younger son is the biggest loser, the one who has suffered the most setbacks since Scobie decided to go for a second bestseller. That would be incorrect. Instead, keep in mind Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, who is witnessing a year's worth of labor crumble before her very eyes due to one single insignificant slip from Scobie's new Roman a tone-deaf partner. Allow me to clarify. Days have passed since the stream of disclosures from Endgame, a book with literary, out to be a limp, uninteresting microwave sausage roll, have been releasing, and to their horror, they portray Crown Incorporated as a useless group of conceited people fixated on the drug of favorable press. Additionally, Prince William is desperate to hold the orb and scepter of state and is chomping at the bit to show off his regal bite. Kate, the Princess of Wales, is a limping, worthless doll who needs coaxing into doing anything more than watering the plants or dandling the camera for the cameras. And King Charles broke down in tears when he cut Prince Andrew's wings, a friend of sex offenders who have been convicted. Yes, in plural, which was terrible enough for the palace, but then there was 8. Ever since Meghan met with Oprah Winfrey, her softball interviewer, on a sun-dappled day in early 2021, a moment has hovered over Her Majesty's, all the HRAs, and the men in gray. The revelation of the family member who had brought up concerns and conversations about how dark the couple's first child's skin tone. The Duchess refrained from naming anybody at the time, stating that it would be very damaging to them. However, a Dutch publisher has now let the secret out, named the alleged royal racist in the local language version. Now, as the royal family processes the enormity of it all, let's take a moment to watch the lightning strikes and thunderclaps that are presently striking over monarchy headquarters. The largest royal enigma since the Princes in the Tower has been resolved, even though Endgame has been taken off Dutch bookstores. Speaking generally about the book, Rebecca English, royal editor of the Daily Mail, has noted that there is shock in palace circles this week. According to a person who spoke to English, "I think everyone is shocked at the malice and the deliberate cruelty of what he has written, not to mention the misogyny of much of what he says." With all of this, please keep Meghan in mind, whose efforts to relaunch and rebrand have been completely derailed. The Duchess has taken a very different stand this year. Not a single interview has repeated royal slights, mentioned Nelson Mandela, or portrayed her and Harry as courageous, beleaguered warriors fighting for the truth and soft-focus close-ups. The 42-year-old has, instead, appeared to be going on a self-imposed silence this year, with the only notable works from Planet Archewell being the book Spare, the documentary Heart of Invictus, and the Invictus Games, a significant charity event. Consider this as the Duchess establishing a buffer between Meghan 2.0 and the Sussex brand of the past, as well as them stuck in a sour Groundhog Day victimization. Every single piece of information coming out of London and Montecito for months now has stated that the Duchess is working on developing an innovative entrepreneurial digital venture that might or might not be related to wellness. Whatever it is, you can be sure that the term authentic self will be bandied about with relish. According to Scobie, Meghan chose not to dive back into the soap opera of the court as the reason she declined to attend the king's coronation. It's obvious that in gloomy, rainy Britain, discussing your personal journey, that is, how long it took you to get through the Fulham Road traffic jam, is passé and carb-free get-togethers over lunches of 3 mineral water are fashionable. The Duchess has been throwing her philocracy hat into the Hollywood ring in recent months, hanging out with big names like Jeff Bezos, Kris Jenner, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos, and Kim Kardashian. She has also attended a charity fundraiser with Harry that was hosted by Kevin Costner and featured Winfrey prominently, and she walked the red carpet at Variety's Power of Women event like a seasoned pro. The obvious conclusion is that the former Suits star wants to move past the perception of the Sussexes as TV and podcasting frivolous people whose successes are completely dependent on harping on about their palace palaver and can be fitted on the back of a beer mat. Instead, she wants to reinvent herself as a major force in entertainment. I'll let you know that the feminist in me is applauding here. However, as they say, the best planned intentions. Now that expectation has been completely dashed by Endgame and its Dutch translation since, like it or not, Meghan has returned to the soap opera. She is once again enmeshed in the accusations of brutality, unintentional prejudice, and cunning palace forces that she seems eager to put behind her. So much for Meghan having a fresh start and a clean slate. The Duchess' attempt to move on from the events and interviews of previous years in terms of her brand has been completely derailed by Endgame and the claim that Charles was the one who had concerns about the skin tone of his unborn grandson. The moment the Sussexes announced their last public engagement in March 2020 is described by Scopy and co-author Carolyn Durand in their earlier book, Finding Freedom. They write, "As Meghan gave me a final hug goodbye, she said, it didn't have to be this way. I couldn't have expressed it more clearly." Asterisk, of course, there is Jeffrey Epstein, as well as fashion mogul Peter Nygard, who was convicted guilty of 4 charges of sexual assault earlier this month in a Canadian court. In 2000, the Duke of York, his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, and their daughters Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were welcomed by Nygard.